Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, my name is Alice and our channel is all about living a healthy and sustainable lower carb lifestyle. For all of my strict carnivores out there, you're gonna love this video. This recipe is so simple that I barely even want to call it a recipe. Short ribs are a fatty, decadent cut of meat, and other than ribeyes, I think that short ribs are one of the fattiest cuts that you can purchase. Because of the way they're cut, they are a little bit on the pricier side, so this is an occasional treat for us. Short ribs have a fat to protein ratio of 2:1, making this a perfect standalone meal for somebody on the carnivore diet. These short ribs are so fatty that this is a perfect meal for OMAD, and just a couple of these will help make you feel full and satiated. Now, the traditional Korean style short rib is called galbi, or LA style galbi. I believe the LA style part of the name just came from popularity because of how much Korean cuisine there is in LA. This is usually a dish that you would get at a Korean barbecue restaurant. The traditional dish does contain quite a bit of sugar, and it's known for its sweet and savory flavors. This is pretty typical of any sort of Asian cuisine. In a lot of Asian dishes like Chinese, Japanese, Korean, savory dishes, a key ingredient is actually sugar, which helps balance the soy sauce flavors in the dish. It's just a little tip for you, something to watch out for if you're going out to eat Asian style food on a carnivore or keto diet. Now, of course, we're not gonna add sugar today. I'm gonna cook these in the oven, and at the end, I'm gonna crank it up to a boil just to get a little bit more color on the ribs. You can also cook them on barbecue, but I'm just gonna keep it simple and do it in the oven today. So I have 1.5 pounds of short ribs here. Korean style ribs are unique for their cut, which is also known as flanken, which is basically beef cut across the bone from the chuck end of the cow. Basically, the meat is butterflied away from the bone to create a thin layer of meat that is connected to the bone on one side. Unlike North American style short ribs, which include a thick slice of bone-in beef, Korean style short ribs are cut lengthwise across the rib bones. This not only ensures maximum flavor penetration, but also that the meat cooks quickly while making it easy to eat. I have also seen people purchase North American style short ribs and carve it themselves at home. If you go to the Korean butcher to get these ribs, they will always come out beautiful and perfect. I'm not sure what they do at the Korean butcher, but something about them just makes them come out beautifully. I have seen this style of cut at regular grocery stores before, but sometimes you can tell the meat isn't as high quality, or like the cut is a little bit jagged. It just doesn't look as nice as these ones do. So I have a baking sheet here with a rack. I'm just gonna lay a little bit of aluminum foil down at the bottom to make cleaning a little bit easier. I think I'm gonna have to use 2 sheets because this is a pretty big rack. Lay down my ribs in a single layer. You can tell how marbled and fatty this cut of beef is. I'm so excited to have these. For the prep, we're gonna keep it really simple and just use salt. Short ribs are just like ribeyes and beef ribs, where it's such a decadent and high-fat cut of meat that all you need is salt for it to taste good. Now, this is optional, but you can add some garlic powder or onion powder if you want a little bit more flavor. I personally find salt to be more than enough for this dish. So for about 1.5 pounds, this is obviously to taste, but I'm gonna use maybe about a teaspoon or half a teaspoon on each side. Give that a flip. Make sure we get both sides. If you're gonna be adding your own seasonings, I do think that pepper might burn because we are cooking this at a pretty high temperature. We're gonna be going at 400 degrees. So if you wanna add pepper, then I would leave it till the very end when it's fully cooked. Now my oven's been preheating at 400 degrees. I'm going to put these in on the center rack for about 15 minutes and just check up on them every now and then. Okay, so my short ribs were in the oven for a total of 15 minutes at 400 degrees. At the very end, I did crank up the oven to a broil and I left them in there for about 2 minutes. Just make sure you keep an eye on them if you're gonna broil because they can burn very quickly. I'm really happy with the color that came out of these ribs. They look amazing. This one is a really fatty piece and it's just, you can just see all the fat and goodness coming out of it. There is also a lot of collagen around these bones, which is good for your hair, your skin, and your nails. So now I'm just gonna plate and then we're gonna do a taste test. Kevin's been fasting for how many hours? How long have you been fasting for? Kevin's been fasting for 20 hours, so I think he's gonna be pretty excited to try these. Okay, we're gonna do a sit-down taste test for you guys. We're so excited to try these. This is actually gonna be Kevin's lunch, basically.
Breakfast?
Breakfast, yeah.
Break fast?
It's 2 o'clock, and
yeah.
You've been fasting for about 20 hours, right? Yeah. Okay, let's
They smell so good. Okay, let me get you this one.
You get the big fatty piece. Oh, that one is,
Oh,
that cow is fat.
Look at this one.
The things I like this over the ribeye is that it's less technical. It's a very foolproof recipe. The way that it's cut is, you basically can't mess it up. Yeah, you can't overcook it really because it only cooks for 15 minutes.
Yeah, in the oven.
In the oven, yeah.
And it's always tender.
Yeah, it's always tender. It's not like a ribeye where, I don't know, I guess there's more technique to making a steak. Yeah. And it can be overcooked if you're not like watching, or even undercooked if you're not careful watching it, just because it's so thick. Yeah. This one is, it's very simple.
Ready? So tender.
Really good.
It melts. You get that little bit of chew from the collagen.
Yeah, there is collagen around these bones.
But it's still so tender.
Yeah. I love the way that the Korean butchers prepare this cut of meat. They like cut it and then they immediately freeze it.
Yeah. It's perfectly cut every time.
So they freeze really well.
Yep.
And you don't have to worry about them sticking and stuff because they don't end up sticking to each other. And then you can thaw them whenever you want them.
They sell them at other grocery stores too, just how it's sold, right?
I didn't remember the grocery stores. But I still think the Korean way is a little bit higher quality. I don't know what it is that they do.
They specialize in
grilling
meat.
This is one of their most famous dishes, I guess.
You kind of got to eat all the collagen and stuff around the bones.
Yeah. When was the last time we went to Korean barbecue?
Probably a couple months ago. We went to one
with our friends.
With our friends,
Korean food, yeah.
Yeah, Korean's a really good option for keto or carnivore because you can always just go there and order plates of meat and they'll just grill it unseasoned and you just add salt. They have lots of other dishes with like spice and like heavily marinated stuff.
Yeah,
as well.
just make sure you get something that's not marinated.
Yeah,
if you're,
it
is carnivore friendly.
You basically order these raw. You get like pork belly, just regular strips of beef, different cuts. Yeah, it's a great option.
The full bag that I bought was a 3-pound bag, which was about $65, I think. $65 Canadian, so about 20 pounds, $20 a pound Canadian. Okay. So that's still cheaper than ribeyes, right?
Cheaper than ribeyes. Yeah. It's still pretty expensive though, because you're paying for bone as well.
Yeah, you are paying for a little bit of bone. You
it's a nice way to
bit of bone in a ribeye too. Not the Costco ones.
If you buy the bone-in one.
Yeah, you buy the bone-in ones.
But these are a good way to change it up though.
Yeah.
If you're bored of ground beef or ribeyes or other types of beef cuts.
Might be hard to get like a grass-fed organic version though at the Korean butcher.
No, yeah. They sell them at Whole Foods if you want grass-fed. And surprisingly, they're around the same price.
The one they sell at Whole Foods is like the North American style with like the whole short rib.
No, they sell the Flanken style.
Oh, they Flanken style?
Yeah.
Do they? Oh, I didn't know that. No. I've never seen that before.
No, it's the same price.
Really?
As going to Korean butcher because you pay premium just for this side of cut. It's expensive to do.
Yeah, it's expensive to do. More labor intensive, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah. It's less meaty than a ribeye. You're like less cutting into a hunk of meat, but and almost more tasty.
It's the fat. The fat makes it really tasty.
We've also tried making boneless short ribs before, but usually with those ones, it comes in a thicker cut. We get them at Costco, but you have to usually pull it, like a low and slow cooking method. And with that cut, I find that you need a little bit more flavor, like onions and carrots and
we've only made it
tomato paste,
like a stew style.
Stew style, yeah. I've never
really a slow roast.
Yeah, I've never really tried like a carnivore version of it. Maybe we should try that next.
Yeah, these are just easier because they're fast. It's such a fast meal.
They're fast.
Yeah, super convenient. That's I think one of the biggest advantages of doing this. You can have a meal ready in 15 minutes.
Fast and foolproof.
Yeah.
They keep well as well. Like if you make it ahead of time, the day ahead of time, because they're so fatty, you can just warm them up.
Yeah.
Flavor that the char you get from the boil just elevates it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So not just like a piece of baked meat.
These are really good on the grill too.
If you liked our video today, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps the channel grow. Leave a comment down below and let us know whether you enjoy our simple carnivore recipes and whether you want to see more of these from us in the future. Until next time.